This last video is some tips and tricks for using the Connect system, and it's really less about how you click on things and make the Connect system work and more about the best ways to use the system, and also, especially if you're a band, the best way to present yourself in order to get gigs at venues. Now look, if you're an experienced band and you play out all the time and you have relationships with venues, you don't need to worry about this. You know the business, you know how to do it. But if you're relatively new, if you're a new band and you're just trying to figure things out, you're trying to establish relationships with venues and get in and play, there might be some stuff in here that's worth thinking about. So the first thing that I want to talk about is your website, which is not technically part of Connect, but it kind of is. So let me show you something here. I'm going to come back over and I've set up a website. It's not a particularly great website, but it's not bad. I set up a website for this fictional band called The Bobs. And it's, you sort of see this sort of thing with bands' websites all the time. It's got a home page and it's got a link to some songs that they've written and there's a link to some videos and so forth. I don't have any on there right now. Here's an important thing. There's not a link for it in this menu here, but what this band did was they set up an extra page on their website for their electronic press kit, their EPK. And you can get to that by just adding EPK to the URL. And on an electronic press kit, what you try to do is condense everything about your band down to one simple page that a venue can look at and decide, is this someone that we'd be interested in? Do they play the kind of music that we play here? Do they look like they have their stuff together? And would we be interested in booking them? So this isn't the greatest electronic press kit page in the world, but it's got a picture of the band and a quick summary of what they're about. It lists who their players are. There's some links here where somebody can go and listen to their music, watch a video of them playing, and it's got some contact information. So honestly, that's not too bad of an electronic press kit. And what the Bobs did, so here we are logged in the Bobs, and let's take a quick look at their profile. So on their website, they have set their website to be their URL with the electronic press kit. And here's why that's important. I don't need to update it because I've already done that. Here's why that's important. Let's take a look now at a venue. So now this is the fictional venue Joe's Place, and they're hooked up to the Connect system and looking at Joe's calendar. And now in this example, Joe's Place is going to try and book a band. They're interested in finding a band on October 15th. So we click on looking and we open up the Connect table for that. And we find out in this example that there's 3 bands here that are also looking for a gig on the date where Joe's Place is looking for a band. And let's suppose for this example that Joe's Place, they don't know anything about these 3 bands, so they're going to find out about them. So the first one they might want to take a look at is The Bobs. So they click on that and they're going to go to their website and notice that The Bobs has put their electronic press kit in as their destination. And so now here's Joe's Place trying to find out something about this band called The Bobs, and it calls up this pretty good electronic press kit, and that tells them a lot about this band. Now, by counterexample, let's suppose that this venue decides to take a look at the fictional band called Bob and the Cruds. So among other things, they'll take a look and it turns out Bob and the Cruds never bothered to put a website together. They just have a Facebook page. And you can put the URL for the Facebook page into the system. And so when the venue goes to call up their Facebook page, this is what they see. And maybe these guys have done a little bit better job of organizing their Facebook page, but there's no way they're going to get their Facebook page to look like a great website or a great electronic press kit for a band. So the point here is that if you're a band, spend some time on your website and make sure that when venues on the Connect system go take a look at your website, whatever you put into your profile as the destination for them to find. Make sure that that's something that presents you really well and would encourage a venue to contact you and offer you a gig. And make sure that it's not just some crummy website or some simple Facebook page that you haven't really worked on, because if a venue is looking at a list of bands that they can book, and in the real world there might be 10 or 15 bands out looking for a gig on that date. And if the venue goes looking at their websites to see which one looks like the best fit, and they come across a website that looks like that Bob Cruddy Facebook page I just showed you by example, they're almost certainly not going to offer you a gig. So my point is, as a band, if you're new and you're trying to work with venues and find places to play. It is worth a lot of effort to make your website really sharp and maybe put an electronic press kit page on the website. That's really the main thing I wanted to talk about in the tips and tricks. If there's anything else I can ever do to help you get connected with bands or venues or make better use of the system, if it just doesn't make sense how it works, but you have a feeling there's something there you ought to understand, just send me an email at info@livermorelivemusic.com and I'll be happy to help you out.